have a wiggle. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Wait. Okay.
Oh,
All right. Is it working? I think it's working. Oh my goodness. Everything. My brain. I'm all over the place because if you haven't seen the title, I updated my PC, and so I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me catch up on stream. Let me see what's happening. Feline, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in. For anyone that's new here, my name is Elveira, and you can feel free to call me Elv, LV, L, or L. I am a variety game streamer as well as a runaway princess vtuber, and today I am trying to keep myself together and, you know, try to be here and present, even though my brain is all over the place. But hey everyone, welcome on in. This is for all of you, for those that came in from the raid. Wait, what? Why is the music on here? It shouldn't be on this overlay. What the heck? Who splashed me? Why is that source? Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, I updated my I'm gonna crash out, chat. I'm fine. Deep breaths. Okay, keep it together, soldier. I'm keeping it together. I'm fine. You know the scene from Friends where Ross is like, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm so good right now. I'm great, you know. I'm so good. I'm okay. Professional. We're professional here. Yes. But yes, hello Raiders. Sorry, I don't usually crash out like this. I'm not usually this all over the place. I just updated my Windows to Windows 11 last night, and so everything's kind of like out of place. And we spent like the entire night up until like 3 hours ago trying to reinstall everything, and I am not awake. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. I have my coffee, I have my kohi, and then yeah, we're gonna try to set things back up again today. But yes, for those that just came on in once again from Feline Stream, welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay here at our tea party. Here, I'll give another bow just because I was late and I'm all over the place. Okay, ready? I'm gonna do it again. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay here at our tea party. But yes, a good morning, a good day, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night, no matter what time it may be. I hope that you're having a wonderful weekend so far, you know, because I'm tired. Feline, how is your stream? I want to play games together again soon. There's like a lot of games that have come out recently that are considered like the friend swap games, you know, which are just multiplayer games. And so I don't know if you've played them yet. I want to play games like Nemesis and Cursed Companion. And so I might reach out. Why did the Mix It Up bot say end response? Is my Mix It Up bot broken? Oh no. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Oh, I forgot because it's in a notepad. Okay, I need to get that notepad. I haven't heard of those. Yeah, let me link them to you. No, you didn't break it, Melda. Like I said, so what happened was, just to kind of give you guys a TLDR, what happened was last Sunday, my HDD or my hard drive broke, okay? And so thankfully, you know, my boot up is not on my hard drive, thank God. And so I had to get a new SSD to download new games, you know? And so I was just gonna buy a new SSD, you know, add in my storage. And then Wuppo was like, oh, since you're getting a new SSD, you should update to Windows 11. I have been dreading Windows 11. And I have been trying to avoid it for as long as possible. Just to give you guys an idea, my Windows 10, I didn't update until I had my HDD added, and that was like what, 10 years ago. And so I try to hold off as long as possible. And so far, thankfully, nothing's breaking on Windows 11. Knock on wood. Knocking on wood. But because we changed, so my boot up is no longer my old boot up disk. It's now the new SSD, since Wuppo said that'd be better for like boot up time and all that jazz and storage and stuff. And so because I have a new boot up disk, my old boot up disk is now considered storage, right? And so all of my sources, all of my files, everything is currently on the old disk. And so yeah, everything is like being read, and we had to transfer it. And so I need to transfer the tea stuff. So I'm so sorry for today. I don't know if I can set that up right now, but that's what this stream is for. This stream is for you guys to be here with me, you know, for me to update y'all. And then if things are broken on the stream, I can fix it. And so yeah, I see the tea number response notepad move to SSD. Okay. All right. Yes, I am not Bob the Builder. I'm Bomb the Builder, because Bob the Builder is copyright and I don't want to be attacked, you know, by the copyright police. Yes. Hi, Kid. Hi, Silva. Hi, Rai. Welcome on in. How did the SSD is so... You want to hear? You want to hear about my janky installation? So I haven't, you know, installed stuff. Like my PC I originally built like 5 years ago, okay, when I first began streaming. And so I built my PC first. And then I updated my graphics card last year. And so I have a 4070, I think, for my graphics card, right? And so we have my SSD. I had to buy like a new set of screws as well, because my motherboard box and all that jazz is like at the family home in the basement, because I had no space to take it with me on the move, you know? It's expensive moving a lot of stuff. And so I was gonna do 2 trips. You know, this trip coming up is my second trip where I take stuff with me again for the apartment, right after I go visit my family during the holidays. And so I haven't built my PC and really like touched the nitty-gritty stuff in a while.
Mod Rocker 94 gifted a tier 1 sub to Huppo. They have
Huppo?
given 242 gift subs in the channel.
Why did it say like that? Huppo. I've never heard Texas Speech call him Huppo until like today. Huppo. But thank you so much, Mod Rocker, for gifting a sub to Wuppo. Wuppo, I hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay as a tea bud. Thank you, Mod Rocker. Can we get some love and some hype in the chat, please, for Mod Rocker's gift? Oh my god, my hiccups. Also, feline. Look. That's the first game. And then the second game is this one right here. It's really fun. The first one is kind of like the mimics from Lethal Company. If you remember Lethal Company, and how there's that one mob that would like copy your voice. That's the entirety of Mimesis, is that you just have your voice copied, you know, with the whole party. And so you're going around trying to collect stuff like Lethal Company, but you have to constantly question yourself, like, is this my teammate or is this a mimic? And then Cursed Companions is like Mage Arena, if you've seen it before, where it's voice activated. You have to collect stuff, but there's like safe words and bad words. And so you have to make sure you say the good words to heal and stuff, you know? And then you can't say bad words, like the words that are forbidden for each person. You hurt yourself. But I can talk to you more about it and all that jazz. But yeah, if you need to head off to wind down after stream, please feel free to do so. But thank you so much again for that raid, Feline. Please go check out Feline if you guys have not already. Feline is brilliant. Feline is just so smart and is so creative and comes up with so many useful ideas, you know, not just for their own stream, but like for plugins for Warudo and for others that have like 3D models and more. So please go check out Feline if you have not already. Second one seems cool. Okay. All right, I have a certain somebody that you very much know that also wants to play, and so maybe I can set that up. Wink wonk, wink wonk. Their name rhymes with kazoo. There's an extra syllable in their name, but the last part ends with kazoo. Okay, all right. But okay. Yes, I will make sure to reach out about that. I'll probably try to set that up because I'm gonna be visiting family in the latter half of December, and so I didn't know if you're free, but yeah, I'll try to set that up for maybe next week. Yeah. But yes, thank you again for that rate, and go check out Feline. Go check out Feline. Let me see. Marsh, thank you so much for that gift sub as well. I really appreciate that. And then we also have the follow from Excess Canavera. And then we also had that resub from Nita at 19 months. Oh, I hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay as a tea bun. And then Kit also resubscribed at 2 months. I hope you also enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay as a tea bun. And Silva, congratulations on redeeming first. I hope you enjoy being first of today's stream. But thank you so much, everybody, for all of the love. Oh my gosh, Cherry! It has been a while. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. I could be doing better. You know, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now. I might have almost crashed out last night as I was reinstalling everything with the new SSD and the Windows update. But I'm holding on by a thread. I'm holding on. But yeah, I hope you're doing well today. It's nice to see you. It's always a pleasure seeing people I haven't seen in a while. Had some health issues off and on all year, so I could be doing better too. No! I'm so sorry to hear that. Health issues, especially if they're off and on, can be so stressful. And so I hope that, you know, the rest of the year is smoother and better. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us, Cherry. I'm so happy we get to talk again. Hi, Michael, by the way. Thank you so much for the follow. 19 Michael H98. 19 Michael underscore H98. Underscores are very important. Yes. Just like my friend Wilbo. We always call him Wilbo's underscore world. Yes. But yeah, so back to the story for those that did not know. Essentially, so with the SSD, it's not the same as like the external SSDs where you plug in the SATA cables. Right? So instead of using SATA cables, this one plugs in directly onto the motherboard. And so I've never done that before. I've never had an internal SSD. And so I'm used to like taking off, you know, the case. I took off the lid. I took off the panel, the glass panel, all that jazz. And then I realized that the SSD is so much like tinier than I realized. I thought the SSD stick was going to be bigger for some reason. I don't know. And so I had the SSD and I took it out of the case. And here's the box if you guys want to see it. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up right here. Excuse me. I posted on Twitter if you guys did not see. Right here. Good night, Feline. Good night. I hope you sleep well. Sweet dreams. Good night. Good night. Can we get some good nights in chat, please, for Feline? Go get that rest. Yes. Okay, so this is the picture. By the way, I have not seen my desktop so clean in like years. It's crazy. It's kind of like what happened with my old, my Windows 9, I'm assuming, because yeah, I remember whenever I go into the desktop of my old HDD, it had like a million things, and I was like, wow. It's just like when I downloaded Windows 10. Here, so, by the way, mods, if you guys notice anything broken today for commands and stuff, let me know, because I forgot there's some stuff that are local, and so I need to go back and check those out if I need to fix it and all that jazz. Yes. Yes, it's an NVMe. I didn't know that, by the way. I didn't know that NVMe's were a different name for internal SSDs, because I've only known them as like external and internal, you know. And so once again, my HDD died, you know, on Sunday, and it's thanks to all of y'all for being so sweet and for donating that I was able to even be able to afford an SSD during Black Friday. And so that's it right there. I have that one right there. And if you guys want the direct link for it, I bought it off of Amazon. Wuppo was the one that helped me find it, because they know their links and all that jazz. And so they found one for me. And so this is the link right here, in case you want to check out the one that I got. But yeah, once again, it was on sale for Black Friday, so it's a little expensive right now since it's not on Black Friday. And also, Winpage, I saw your message earlier, by the way. I saw your message about how it's tiny. I don't have the funds right now, unfortunately, to be able to get like a 10 terabyte. Oh my god, I still can't get over it. There was a 10 terabyte hard drive that was being sold for $199.99, about $200 USD for Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. And that was the same price as the sale for the 8 terabyte. And it was only $10 more than the sale for the 6 terabyte. The 6 terabyte was like what? Like $189.99. And so we were tempted. We were very tempted and almost got the 10 terabyte. But I asked myself, I was like, okay, you know, I don't need it, right? And so for the time being, I'll hold off on the HDD. And so we just got the, well, I could afford, right? Which is the SSD. And so I have the SSD. And so later on, I'll put the HDD onto the throne, because right now I feel bad. You know, once again, I'm so grateful you guys have helped out with funding for my motherboard and CPU upgrade, as well as the SSD, right? The coincidence, the timing. My HDD really said, it's my time to go now. I have done my job. Goodbye. It pulled a Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. You know, it was just like, goodbye. I'm done now. I've done my job after 10 years. But yeah. So I'll put the HDD like later on, because once again, it's not a need. It's a want, because it would be nice. But yeah, for now, I have put as much stuff onto my Google Drive as possible. My Google Drives are all like 90% storage full. And they're like screaming at me. They're like, your Google is currently at 90% full. It needs space. If you run out of space, you will no longer receive emails. And I'm just like, tee. You know? But yeah. Yeah, it held out as long as it could. Exactly, kid. Exactly. Why not use Mega? What's Mega? I don't know tech stuff. Every time that I have tech problems, I ask my friends, Wuppo and Derpy. They've been there for me since like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And so I didn't know what that means. I don't know anything. All I do is I buy, you know, the recommendations when I need to buy it, and then I tell them, I do what they tell me. I turn on my camera, you know, and I'm like, okay, tell me what to do, and then I follow it. I leave it up to the experts, okay, you know. Who cares about emails? I do, because you know, as a full-time streamer, as someone that does streaming as my full-time job, I kind of need my emails. I kind of need to communicate with companies, you know. Hi, Wolfpack Nation. I'm staying on Windows 10 for as long as possible, but we'll probably switch to Linux instead of update. That's what they were talking about too. Like, Derpy was talking about how maybe I should do Linux instead, but Wuppo was like, just do Windows 11. And so I was like, okay, I trust you guys. You know, this whole PC setup built is, you know, their recommendations of what works with what. And so I'm like, okay, if they tell me to try, I will try. And so I'm on Windows 11. And as of right now, aside from having to like install everything, it seems okay. Yeah, people have been telling me that Linux is pretty great. It's been 10 years since I used since I used Mega for my old band stuff. Pretty sure the audio files are deleted by now. Oh no. Hi, Sabbath. Nice to see you. Go Steam OS? What's Steam OS? What's that? Yeah, I was thinking of like Omegle, and then my brain was like, Mega. Omegle. Omega. Omegaverse. I'm just kidding. What? Linux is great, but it is an acquired taste. Yeah, I heard it's not for everyone. And so, yeah, I decided just to go Windows 11. You know, might as well rip the Band-Aid off and try to, you know, embrace my, you know, my inner Bear Grylls. You gotta overcome. My brain is not working right now. What does he say? Wait. My memory. Oh, is it overcome, adapt, achieve? Is that what he says? Oh, no. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And so, yeah, I was like, I might as well just rip the Band-Aid off, you know? He said it's the best time to do it because I have a fresh new SSD. And so I was like, okie dokie, we're gonna do it. And so I updated to Windows 11. Thankfully, you know, a lot of stuff broke, but if Bo wasn't there helping me, by the way, I think we spent like, I think I started at, I want to say like 9 p.m. Pacific, and then we didn't finish until like 7 a.m. Pacific. And so I spent a very long time setting everything up. Oh my god, I'm so tired. My brain. That's quick, actually. You think so? For like a fresh new installation of Windows 11. Everything's not fully in yet. We just kind of did like the bare basics, you know? And so I was like, okay, all right. But yeah. Oh my god, you want to hear about the actual like installation of my SSD? You guys are gonna probably face palm, you know? So with the SSD, as you can see, for those that don't know, this internal SSD, what that means is that you don't install it from like a cable, because my external SSDs, you plug in through a cable in the back of the PC, and that connects into your motherboard, right? And so it's very easy, very peasy. You just kind of connect it in the back. There's like a mount you mount it on with some screws, and then all you do is plug in the cable. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, bada bing, bada boom, right? But for the internal SSD, you have to plug it onto your motherboard. And so if you guys don't know, sometimes it's really hard to put things into your motherboard, right? Because it is there's a lot of tiny screws, a lot of tiny pieces. And then my motherboard, currently, I didn't take anything out because Wappo was like, okay, you should be able to do it without moving anything. And so my water cooler's in there, my graphics card's in there, and they're kind of chonky. They're kind of chonky, you know? And so I left everything in. By the way, if you want to see my parts, you can do !PC pick, and you can see my PC parts, or PC parts. I forget the command. But yeah, I have my PC parts on my PC part picker page, except for my SSD, as well as my updated graphics card. But yeah, you can check it all out there. I have Intel. I have Intel i9, I believe, right now, for my CPU, for those that were curious. But we've upgraded to a new one coming in soon, TM. But that's for another day. So essentially, do I have the pictures? Wait, well, is it okay for me to share the pictures I took of my motherboard, or is there like sensitive information? I don't know. Let me show you. Okay. There's not. Oh, thank you, Derpy. Thank you. Hi, Derpy. Derpy also was doing some like hardware installation yesterday for his own PC, and my god, Derpy also had some problems as well. He still has some hardware problems that he needs to fix, and I'm just like, oh no. Okay, you're good. Okay. Hi, Sarah Rosie. Welcome on in, by the way. Yeah, the NVMe fits underneath a cooling pad behind a panel that is held in place by a tiny screw. See, it sounds easy, and when I think about it now, it was easy, right? But I was so confused at what Wappo meant. And so, okay, if you look at the SSD, there's like a tiny hole at the top, right? And then there's like the big gold C on the left side. So he told me that there's a tiny screw and a big screw, right? And in my brain, I thought that the tiny screw was supposed to go on the little tiny hole at the top left. I thought it was supposed to go there. And so I thought it was just the big screw that was supposed to go on top. of the yellow C that you see right there. But no, it's supposed to be you mount the big screw onto the motherboard, and then you put the SSD on top of that, and then you put the tiny screw on top of that hole that you mounted into the motherboard. I didn't know that, and so I was so confused. I was looking for the tiny hole to put into the tiny left hole at the top of the SSD right there, and then I was trying to mount the SSD with the big screw on top of the SSD. And so that's what I did, and it was so bad. It was really bad. But here, let me give you visuals for those that are confused. Oh, I didn't build my PC from scratch, WinPage. I already did that like a while ago, okay? And so the only thing that I installed last night was the NVMe. That's it. I didn't install any other hardware. It was just the SSD. Everything else, like thermal paste, the CPU, the motherboard, that was all done like ages ago. That was done 5 years ago, to be exact. But here. So, let me pull it up. Right here. So here's the pictures. And then I'll give you... Wait, Wupple, can I share the drawing that you drew for me? Because I'm a very visual person, and so I do better if someone's able to like guide me visually, you know? Okay. So let me save. Desktop. Hi, Christian! What do you get when you mix a Christmas tree and an iPad? A pineapple. Oh, I get it. Ha ha. Let me save this picture too. Okay. Sorry, I like chugged some coffee to stay awake. So I'm a little hiccupy right now. A little hyper, a little hiccupy. Save. Okay. Okay. All right. So, you want to see like the inside of my PC? Don't judge me. I don't know how to cable manage, okay? All right. I don't know how to cable manage. Don't judge me. So, here. If you want to see my build. So, this is the first picture that I sent. Oh my god, why is that picture so big? Let me make it smaller. Give me 1 second. I'm shrinking the picture. Okay, alright. Ta-da! So this is like the inside of my PC, okay? I was so confused at where it went, and so I took a screenshot because Oppo was like, can you take a screenshot of your motherboard and just kind of like show me where things are at? And so I was like, okay, let me show you. And so he was like, it's right there. That space right there is where you plug it in. And I was like, okay, all right. And so I was like, okay, let me plug it in. And then, by the way, there you go. There's my graphics card. You have my Wi-Fi adapter, and then you have my water cooler. And yes, my water cooler has the same GIF as the one that you see for the Discord, Elveira spin. He called me out. He was like, nice GIF. Where are the zip ties? In the back. The zip ties are in the back. What's that thing the spin is on? It's a water cooler. So I got the water cooler from the recommendation 5 years ago. And so that water cooler is really fancy schmancy. It has like a whole thingy where you can actually, put a GIF on there. Yeah, right? It's really cool. You can put like any GIF on there. It can be your own emote. It can be another person's emote. If you have other people's emotes, it can be a GIF that you find on Jiffy. All that jazz, right? Looking at your motherboard, just be aware that your new NVMe SSD is built for newer... Exactly! So the whole reason why we got the SSD is because I have a new motherboard actually already bought. It's at my family home and I'm going to bring it back. And so Wopo kept that in mind. He was like, okay, since you're getting a new SSD... a new SSD as well as a new motherboard, he wanted me to buy a new SSD that would fit better for the new motherboard. And so this is just temporary for the time being, and then come January, I want to come back. I'm gonna have the new motherboard, I'm gonna have the new CPU, I'm gonna reinstall everything. God, pray for me, chat, pray for me. And then from there, I'll be able to go ahead and have the full power of the processing speed, from the SSD on the motherboard. So yeah. Yes, Sabbath. Yeah. Wuppo completely thought of that already in mind. Because originally there was another SSD I could have bought, but he believed that that wouldn't be good for the future Mobo, because the future motherboard, has better capacity. And so he's like, just buy this for now. We install here. December, this will just be like a temporary build type of thing. Future proofing is always a good idea, especially with PC parts. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Strength be upon you. Thank you, Rai. I'm gonna need all that strength because I'm not ready to build my PC again. I love it. Like, it's really fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like it afterwards. Afterwards, I'm like, oh, that was kind of fun. I did that. Yay. But during it, I'm like, I'm just like, by the way, so once again, going back to that picture, PowerPoint. So I took a better picture of like my internal version of after I opened up my PC and all that jazz. So this picture right here, Jajan! This is like a picture with flash, okay? So he told me, he's like, okay, you have to install the SSD right there. And so if you can't see it, okay, the SSD is installed into this little like category right here. So you stick the one end into that side on the right, that little like part, and then you're supposed to like plug it in or screw it in into the 2280 slot, right? And so I was like, okay. And I was looking for the screw hole for the smaller screw. I was like, where do I put that? I don't see a hole above the 2280 hole. Because once again, I was just going purely based off of what was instructions. And so my brain was trying to piece it together as someone that doesn't really build PCs or is knowledgeable about PC parts like that, right? And so I was so confused. And so what happened was, after this picture, I was trying to figure out how the heck do I put it in. And so Wuppo sent me an image that he drew right here. Okay. No, I'm not blaming Wuppo. I'm saying I'm going based off his words. And so he's the expert, whereas I'm not the expert. I'm blaming myself because I wasn't able to comprehend properly, right? And so he drew me this picture. He's like, okay, Alf. All right, so you see the yellow? The yellow are the parts that go into the, the installation. And so it's like, okay, all right. So we have the yellow part that I stick into the right side. And then we have the C on the SSD where I put the screw on. See, looking at the picture now, it makes complete sense that I put the big screw and then the small screw on top of it. But my brain at that time registered it as like, okay, I'll put the big screw on top of it to screw it into the motherboard. And then the small screw goes into the small hole, right? Because there's a hole in the SSD that has a small little opening right there. Like this right here, this hole, let me shrink it. Right here. I thought it went into this hole because I was like, why is there a random hole? Obviously, holes are for screws, right? And so I thought the tiny screw was like an extra amount, right? Yeah, I didn't realize it was a spacer. I forgot that there are spacers that you install into the motherboard for screws to be screwed into. And so I put in the SSD first, just kind of flat, and so I was confused. I was like, well, the screw's not really going in because the SSD is covering up the hole. And I showed him and he was like, that doesn't look right, And I was like, do I have to push it in the right side? He's like, yes, you have to push it in, but at an angle. And I was like, what do you mean an angle? I was like, what? No, I didn't screw into the motherboard. It's worse. I flat out had the SSD at an angle. And you know how it's like suspended, right? And the suspension is like, it's supposed to allow you to place it on top of the screw that you screw in for the spacer. Oh my god. So here's the visual. Okay, let me show you the visual that will put you for like part 2. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, you're supposed to have it at an angle where you insert it and then it goes on top of the spacer like that. I had it where it was installed, but it was angled the other way because I was pushing down the SSD with the big screw. I was putting it down. I was putting it down with the screw, and so it was angled the other way. I could have snapped the SSD. And so, thank God, the SSD did not break. But yeah, we realized that afterwards, you know. And Whoopo was like, "Oh," like he said, "Oh," like he usually does when I mess things up. He was like, "Oh." So I unscrewed the spacer, the mounting spacer screw. And then I took out the SSD. I screwed in the spacer screw into the motherboard properly, and then I plugged back in the SSD into the proper slot, and it rested on top of the spacer screw perfectly. And I was like, oh. I was like, that makes so much more sense now. And then going back to the other picture. Right, it actually looked like how it was supposed to look, like this. And so from there, I screwed in the small screw on top of the, SSD with the spacer, and everything is perfectly installed. And then I think I have a picture of it. Did I take a picture of it? Also, I see Miss is it Anivia? Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. I hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome.
Updating sub to version 57. Please wait and do not turn off your computer.
Mayo, thank you so much for the resub at 57 months. I hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stays at T-Bun. Oh my god, Whoopo! I just saw your updated picture. Can I share that? Can I share your picture? Yes, okay. But thank you, Bio. Can we get some love and some hype in the chat, please, for our mods resub at 57 whole months? Almost at the big 60. Thank you. Okay, so instead of looking like this, alright? This is what it's supposed to look like. This is the visual of how I installed my SSD by accident because I did not know what the heck I was doing, okay? I was mentally trying to translate verbal instructions and then do it myself. It looked like that. It looked like that, chat. Oh my god. It was so bad. It was so bad. I literally bet space and time. I know. When I think about it, like after I realized what happened, I was mortified. Thank God I didn't break it by screwing it in too much, because I had semi-screwed it in, and then I was like, Oppo, is this correct? It doesn't feel correct. I was like, this looks wrong. And then I asked her, I was like, where does the small screw go? And he's like, what? He was like, what do you mean? Where does the small screw go? Because you said you screwed it in, right? And I was like, yeah, I screwed it in. But what about the small one? Where do I put that? And he was like, what? You could hear how confused he was and concerned. He was full of confusion and concern with his what? And I was like, what? And so, yeah, I was like, I know, thank God everything still worked out in the end, Yeah, I didn't full send. +1 for at least trying and not... Yeah, for me, I think what helps out... My dad has always told me this. My dad's like, thank God you're overly cautious. And he told me that too. I remember when my dad first taught me how to drive, he was like, yeah... Because he taught Elveira and I at the same time how to drive. And he was like, yeah, I think... He's talking to Elveira. He said, I think your sister will be okay. I think she's going to be a really good driver. Because she's so careful and so cautious about everything that... she's just gonna be overcautious about it to the point where she's a safe driver. But then what he said afterwards? He's like, I think your sister's gonna be a fast driver. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like you're gonna be a fast driver. Compared to your brother, I feel like you're gonna, because you're so safe and you want to learn the basics, you're gonna want to test the limits afterwards. And I was like, why you say this? I was like, is he projecting? I mean, he's not wrong. I do like going real fast when I play Mario Kart and other racing games, you know? It's really fun to drift and all that jazz. But yeah, my dad was like, knowing you, if you're like me, we're gonna be the same. And I was like, is this lore that's dropped? Did you used to drive fast, Dad? And he was like, okay. But I'm an anxious driver. I'm a very anxious driver, you know, because I like to be in control. And when things are not in my control, I am very anxious, you know? And so I am very anxious. Oh, no, exactly. IRL is different from games, right? But my dad knows me. And he said, I remind him of him when he was younger. And so he was like, yeah, I feel like you're gonna want to test limits after you learn. And I'm like, okay, all right. That's when he breaks out his old modeling picture with a leather. I'm not even kidding you. My dad, he was so fashionable, you know? Like when my mom talked about how handsome my dad was, I was like, dang, okay. Because he like, there's pictures of him posing. Like back then, you know, he didn't do modeling and all that jazz, but he's posing like them, like, you know, like a model. Like he had, what do you have? He had like, so there's this one picture of him where he has, you know, like the jean pants, right? He has like the white t-shirt on, right? White t-shirt that's like tucked into the white or to the jeans. He has his belt, and then he has his like matching jean jacket like flipped over his shoulder. Like, you know, people like hold their jacket by their finger and they hold it over their shoulder and they pose with it. He had that whole look in one of his pictures, his old pictures. And I was like, what the heck, Dad? okay, I didn't know my dad modeled before. You know, modeling was a thing. I was like, okay. I can see why my mom was like, she fell in love with him as soon as she saw him, type of thing, you know? That's exactly what I was picturing. So, yeah, my dad, he is and was very well dressed. Like, my dad has suits. My dad has a bunch of ties. He has like a whole collection of ties. And then my dad, he used to like, I don't know. My dad's all about dressing up, right? And so, because of that, my mom is also about dressing up. And so for me, it was kind of like a thing that happened growing up. Whenever we would go to like family reunions or we go out, my dad and my mom would want us to dress up, you know, with what we were able to dress up with. And so, yeah, that's where I get my overdressing from. And I still feel like I'm overdressed when I go to events and stuff. But I don't mind. Like, I like dressing up for myself. It's fun. But there are times though where I still think about it. Like, I remember back in high school, whenever I'd go hang out with friends that like volunteer or hang out on the weekends, they would always be like, oh my God, Ev, why are you so dressed up for? And I was like, oh, I'm dressed up? Oh. Does he have a ducky tie though? No, my dad doesn't really have like a lot of fun ties. He has more of like the classy ties. My dad's a very classy person. He's very classy. Nowadays, he's more chill, you know, because he's older and he's like, he just wants to chill at home and like do house renovations and stuff like that when he's at home. And so, yeah, he's just chill. He dresses more casual. Thank you, Cian. Thank you. I used to be more self-conscious about dressing up, you know, and I would try to dress down. But after like university, I was like, after getting into university, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dress however I want to dress. And so I didn't care if I dressed up. You know all those memes about like how freshmen like overdress for university? That was me, except all of university. Except for like finals week. Finals week, where I'm like, you know, running on 2 hours of sleep. You know, I dress more comfy because I was just like, I have no energy to do makeup and all that jazz. I just need to go to class, come back home, study, take my quizzes, and then pass out. But yeah, I would be one of those students that be, you know, all dressed up for no reason, just because I wanted to. Exactly, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to dress nice. And that's why I always tell people, if you want to dress nice, go ahead, dress nice, you know? And so I have that mentality still to this day as well. I like dressing up nice because it makes you feel good. You know, it's fun. Life is too short to try to, you know, accommodate to, you know, fit the norm if you're worried about that, right? I feel like if you want to dress however you want to dress however you like, whether it be casual, whether it be fancy, dress however you want to dress, you know? Life is too short to listen to people judging you and be like, oh my God, why are you dressed like that? Dressing up is nice. Yeah, right? I think so too. It's like stuff like, you know, like I really enjoy that. You know, like it takes me an hour to do my makeup, but I have a lot of fun doing my makeup, you know? I'm just like, it feels like another creative outlet, and so it's fun doing my makeup, it's fun doing my hair, it's fun dressing up, it's fun. It's just like another form of expression, you know? And so that's why I really liked being in playwrights when I was in playwrights back then, because you get to dress up as different characters and try out different outfits and try out different looks, right? You're just like, wow, you get to be in the character. I love dressing up only to go out for lunch or dinner with friends. Exactly, right? I used to dress up even for grocery shopping, right? And so I remember there were times where I had people tell me, they're like, why are you dressing up? We're just going to, like, you know, like Costco, or we're just going to like McDonald's or stuff like that, right? And I was just like, I don't know, I just want to dress up. Like my mom, you know, you guys know her by now. I should make like a whole series of Mom Vera's advice on how to be a proper young lady. That's very outdated and traditional, and not, you know, something that people should follow, because, you know, that's all outdated. But back then, when I was younger, my mom, she was like, a proper young lady does not go out unless she dresses up. And I was just like, okay, Mom. And so once again, you know, a lot of the stuff that I do is ingrained in my brain from Mom Vera, when she used to teach me about etiquette and manners and all that jazz and blah 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 blah. And so it felt weird. It felt weird to like dress casually when I go out, even if it's just going to like the grocery store. You know what I mean? Yeah, my mom, she wanted me to be a proper young lady because she was taught to be a proper young lady, you know. Right, so you have a prank date. What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell me. What do you mean a prank date? I need details. You don't know who you can run into. I don't care. Like, I don't really care about people I run into. You know, like back then, of course, like when I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, what if I run into my crush, you know? Randomly, for some reason, like a TV series, right? Where I run into the crush at the grocery market, even though we live in 2 different neighborhoods. And so I used to think about that. But other than that, I didn't really care if people saw me type of thing, you know? I just did it because I just wanted to feel nice for myself. I tend to dress comfortably, but once in a while I like to dress up a little. Yeah, you know, and once again, it's all up to you. If your crush doesn't like how you look when you dress down, they're not worth your time. But see, back in the day, in high school, you know, you don't really think about like that. You don't have that like mature mentality, right? You're like, oh my God, looks, insecurity, you know? And so I was just like, oh my God, I want to look nice. Hi, Last School. Welcome on it. But yes, that's a very important point, though. That's a little something to keep in mind for anyone that, you know, might be thinking about that. If you have a crush on someone, or if you like someone, or if you fall in love with someone, right? Please make sure that it's not just for your looks, okay? Because looks are something that fade over time, right? And so it's perfectly fine to like somebody, you know, initially, for example, based off looks, right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're humans, right? People that look nice, right? And so it's completely understandable to fall for people based off looks at first. But it's so important that you also like the personality, you know? And so you gotta remember, if you get along with them initially and you want to get to know them, right? It's fine, right? But it's really important to make sure that your personalities also mesh with each other, because looks will fade, but the personality will stick around. And so if you are like annoyed by this person's personality, their looks are gonna get old real fast. You know what I mean? Especially if you guys are like past the honeymoon stage of dating. And so it's really important to make sure you guys mesh compatibility wise too. I'm talking serious talk. You know, I'm talking serious talk when I'm like clapping my hands like, you need to do this. But that's only if you want to be in a relationship. I know some people do not want to be in a relationship, and that's okay too. Or some people don't even want to think about romance, right? And that's fine too. By the way, I saw the question about my favorite part about doing makeup. I think my favorite part about doing makeup is my eyes. Because for me, I really love eyes when it comes to, you know, OCs and art. And so for me, I put a lot of the focus on my eyes, right? For my makeup. And so I have a lot of fun doing like my eyeliner, right? Doing my mascara, putting on my falsies. My eyes are my favorite part. Yeah. I like doing my eyes. Enhancing. I like to enhance, you know, my eyes. It's very like therapeutic. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was a risky gamble. I told this girl we were going someplace nice, so we both dressed up. And then you drove her to Taco Bell. Okay. Everyone's different. See, like for me, I think that's cute. I think that'd be really cute, you know, to get all dressed up fancy schmancy and then be like, surprise, Taco Bell. But I can see why it can go really wrong too, you know, especially if you're dressing up for like a Michelin star restaurant in mind, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it takes you a while to do makeup, you know? Sometimes it's like you take an hour, and then sometimes if it's real fancy, it might take like 3 hours, depending on like how long you take to do your hair, how long you take to do this. Like for example, right? If it was like a dress up for, you know, like an outing and it was like my 1 hour routine, I'd be okay with that. But if the person prefaced like, oh, we're going to a wedding, you know, I take like 3 hours to do my wedding prep. And so I would be a little annoyed if I took 3 hours and then I was just like, I'd be like, okay, cute, but next time, let me know it's not as fancy schmancy type of thing, you know? Once she was done, done being polite and pretending she wasn't upset, she went to the finest dessert boutique downtown. Oh, but that's cute though. Oh, you still tried to make up for it. Not that. Once she was done pretending to be polite and done pretending to be upset and done being polite. Their personality also dictates how attractive they look in my eyes. Me too. For me, okay, I know everyone always says it like, oh, you know, I fall for their personality. But for me, personality is definitely like a huge part for me. It's like for me, you know, I like back in the day, you know, there's plenty of people that are attractive looking, and you know, it's like as attractive as they are, if I don't mesh along with them, for me, it's like I talked about it during the personality quiz, right? Like for me, I don't really fall for people right off the bat. I'm more so someone that kind of falls for someone after you get to know them, you know? And so it's like, looks are nice, but they don't really do a lot in the sense of like attraction for me to someone else. For me, it's like, okay, they look nice, and I'll be like, oh, wow, you know, maybe they're like my type visually and all that jazz. But then it's not until like we talk and I get to know them more and I get to see if, you know, they banter like how I banter, or if they can make me laugh and all that jazz. And then I'm like, okay, all right, I'm starting to be attracted. And then, you know, that's when feelings develop. And that's kind of been the same way too for like my crushes. I had a really big crush in high school. I had one big crush in middle school. And for those two crushes, it was the same thing, you know? Like I got to know them, and then I found out that they were really funny and they made me laugh. And I was just like, okay, all right, I have feelings for them. So for me, yeah, personality is like a huge part when it comes to attraction. Looks are nice, but the personality is what does it for me. I was expecting her to walk out. Oh, you guys are dating. Okay, see, yeah, I feel like it's definitely something that you can do if you have rapport, especially for like 6 months, you know? First date thing, first date, I don't think that would slide for a lot of people. Yeah. I would not like that as a prank. I don't mind if they were honest in the first place. Like, hey, we're going to Taco Bell. As a date, it's fine. They did in the end go to a nice place. Exactly. Don't go to a wedding as your first date, though. That's a lot of pressure. Oh, yeah. Like being like a +1. Yeah, we have some friends, actually. We had a friend over Friendsgiving, and him and a certain girlie have started dating. And so we're like, oh, you should bring her as a +1. Shen was like, you know, very adamant about it, right? Because Shen's you know, he's an extrovert. He likes talking with everyone. And of course, you know, if his homie has a girlfriend, he wants to meet them, right? And just like find out who this girl is that's like captured his friend's heart. And so he wants her to feel welcome. But for me, I was like, I could, you know, I told our friends like, if she doesn't want to come, that's completely understandable too. Because when it comes to the whole like +1 thing, especially if it's like being introduced to the whole friend group, that's really serious. Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way too, right? But if you've ever dated someone and then, you know, you were invited to a friend outing, that's a lot of pressure, you know, because it makes it sound pretty serious, right? You're like, okay, you know, that means we're very official. That means we're going to meet the longtime friends, you know. Obviously, the friends are going to judge how you are because you know, it's just something that happens, like, oh, you know, you're friends with this person. Of course, you want to make sure to see if their partner is someone that meshes well and is good for that friend, you know? And so for a lot of people, they aren't ready for like the friend group introduction, like the +1 event, until like a while longer. And so usually from what I've seen, it's like after a month, they're not ready yet to meet the friends, right? And be introduced to the friend group as a +1. Usually that's like after a few months in. And then they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm down to be introduced and all that jazz, right? And so that's why for that friend of ours, we're like, yeah, if she doesn't want to come, completely understandable, because it's like, it was like the whole, a whole big event, Friendsgiving. But yeah, I don't know if you guys feel the same way too. I think that they meant it was a first date thing. Oh, they did it for 6 months after. Oh, is that correct, Dry Bear? I'm so sorry. My comprehension skills are kind of dialed down a lot today from my 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, right. It's kind of similar. Not exactly the same as like meeting the parents, but if you're meeting people's longtime friends for your partner, that's pretty serious, Early on, it'd be pretty stressful. Informal interview you can't prepare for, essentially. Yeah, right. It's like they start asking like, oh, how'd you guys meet? Oh, what do you like? Like for example, if you've ever seen the reality show Love is Blind, that's like a big part of the of the show, right? There's like the part where at the beginning, if you don't know, for Love is Blind, it's like the premise is always, I think, they talk to each other behind a wall. And then so you have to get to know them through personality. And then from there, once you find someone that you love and you're dating them, you can ask them to marry you, which is crazy, by the way. I still think about that. That concept is crazy, to ask someone to marry you after knowing them for a few weeks, And then after that, they see each other in person. It's like the big reveal, right? And then after the big reveal, it's like a test. It's a test of personality meshing well in the real world, the person or the physical looks, attached with the personality, and then it's like the friends. And so they have this whole big segment where they meet the friends, and then they meet the parents. And the friends, some of the friends interactions are very intense, because some homies they got their friends back, and so it can be very intense. I'm scrolling. It was a second date, so still early on, and definitely a volatile risk to take. But honestly, it's like a risk to take, but at the same time, it can also be a huge test for deal breakers, or a huge test to see for yourself, I guess, if they're down to match your energy. For people, some people, when they're dating, they don't want to mess around. They know what they want, and they are just ready to, see how things go based off how people react on stuff. And so some people, I have some people that I know from classmates that just kind of did stuff like that just very early on, because they were I'm not trying to waste time here. I'm trying to see if they'll match my energy. I'm trying to see, how things go. And so, yeah. I think it was probably very memorable. Hopefully it was a fun story afterwards, Yeah, I don't know what they're like exactly. She had been making comments about not caring about money, so there was... I see. Love is Blind was a wild... I keep forgetting Dry Bear. I did not know that you were a part of Love is Blind. I've heard of people talking about it, right? But yeah, it's I was initially interested, right? Because I first stumbled upon Love is Blind for Love is Blind Japan, and I was just ooh, that's pretty cool. I was wow, I like the social experiment, because it is an interesting concept, right? The idea of seeing if people can fall in love, without looks, and then, seeing each other afterwards. I will say though, the e-daters did it first. I think about it. I was just I was thinking about, I was like, dang, Love is Blind is, a social experiment for normies. Because, e-daters, as someone, right, that's an e-dater, essentially, right? It kind of happened like that. I don't know if there's more that entails to e-dating except for dating online, but yeah, I've had relationships, including the one now where I met the person online first, And then it wasn't until like later on that we like face reveal. And then, you know, if things were still going good, then we start dating type of thing. And so I was just like, I remember watching Love is Blind Japan. I was like, wow, this is like an online relationship. Like they always talk about, they're like, oh my God, their voice is so nice. Oh my goodness, all that jazz, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, that's how it's like for people that, you know, date through the internet. You hear the voice first, usually through like a voice chat. And then afterwards, you get along with their personality. And then if it gets serious enough, you'll do like a face reveal. So it's kind of like Love is Blind when they do their face reveal, except with the whole like getting engaged part of it. That's crazy. But yeah, I was like, wow, it's literally just internet relationships turned into a TV show. Yeah, so my throwables, I have to reinstall the Twitch integrated throwing system on my current SSD. And so I completely forgot to mention that, but mods, if you guys don't mind, could you guys pause the throw redeems and refund for today? I didn't have time to put that up last night, nor did I have the energy to do it. Please and thank you, mods. Oh, you did season 1! Okay. Season 1 of Love is Blind, okay. Reality TV show similar to... I saw that too! I didn't watch it, but I've seen people talk about 90 Day Fiancé. I've only seen the memes, like the memes that came out of it. And so I don't know how entirely that went down. Kind of crazy how many shows back then were about speed dating. There's still a lot of shows that do speed dating. Speed dating is something that's very much still relevant, you know? And I've seen it on YouTube too. There's YouTube channels that do like their own variation of speed dating for YouTube shows. Is that the show known for the guy who hugged the girl and once he found out she was a big girl, he didn't want to date her? I don't think so. I don't know what that is. That doesn't ring a bell, Juko. Hi, Juko. Welcome on in. How you doing today? Welcome. It's way more intense than it shows in the final edit. Really? I feel like from what I've seen, it's already pretty intense. But it's funny though, you know, because I remember, so like I said, I watched Love is Blind Japan first, you know, because I was curious about how dating is in Japan. Because when it comes to dating, right, dating is different all over the world. Like there's some core concepts of dating, but dating in terms of etiquette and how to court and stuff are different in different cultures. And so I was really curious about how it works in Japan, right? And then I remember people were talking about how like Love is Blind Japan is so, it's like not even just Japan, but other places around the world, they're more tame. But then if you want like the reality TV that people talk about, you watch Love is Blind from America, because American reality TV shows is what they're known for, right? So they're known for the drama, they're known for the tension, the spice, you know? And so I remember the whiplash that I had from watching the first season of Love is Blind and then the Love is Blind Japan. It was like night and day, completely different. I was like, what the heck? The pods were cozy, and being cut off from your life and phone for 2 weeks made us... Yes! Yeah, I heard about that. I heard like behind the scenes, like they purposely, you know, like so one, yes, like you're cut off from the world for 2 weeks. You're stuck in the, you know, in the dorms with the other contestants that you're essentially competing against, right? Because you're all trying to find your partner in there, but dating everyone's partner at the same time. And then apparently they like talked about other things too that they did on purpose to kind of make the contestants kind of have a bit more tension and more stress for the drama. And I was like, oh my goodness. Apparently that's a common thing that they do for reality TV shows like that. I don't know if that's a real Dry Bear. You can feel free to, you know, back me up or tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, I heard they did stuff on purpose to try to like stir the pot, you know? Can't believe Love is Blind is so good. They made it real. Hi Grim, how you doing today, by the way? Welcome on in. 80% of what happens doesn't make it into the final edit. They throw away a lot of material to keep the episode count reasonable. Absolutely done on purpose. Drama. Yeah, I heard too. I heard that a lot of couples that actually, you know, date, they don't make it into the final episodes either, because they have to like select the few couples that fit the reality TV show criteria, right? And so there's some couples that do get together, but they don't air their portion. And so I'm like, oh man, that's kind of sad, you know, for couples that might want to have seen how their journey went. Because I've seen some couples talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, we were on there, but we just didn't get aired because we weren't reality TV material. Delma, no worries. Good night. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you sleep well. Hi, Prague. I'm doing okay. I'll hang in there. I should drink my coffee. My coffee is halfway done. I remember watching Attila Tequila's dating show. Attila? I don't know what Attila Tequila is. Who's that? They like the more drama for sure. Because they know what people want, you know? At least in the States. I made Nick Lachey cringe with the dad jokes. I called it. Oh, wait, what was it? Can I ask? Can I ask what your joke was? I love dad jokes. I love punny jokes. I don't know what made him cringe. Oh, you watched it with the whole family. Oh, see, my mom. Okay, so I don't really care for reality TV shows. I'm like, I'm okay, right? But my mom, she was obsessed with like reality TV shows. And you know, she was obsessed when she didn't understand English and she was still watching it. Like, I talk about it, right? But she made me sit down with her as a kid, like elementary school kid. And she would make me translate what they were saying in Brother, like Big Brother. That was like one of the OG reality TV shows that we watched. And so, yeah, Mom Vera was like eating it up. She was like, she liked the competitions that they did in Big Brother, but she also liked the drama. And so my mom was always like, what do they say? What do they say? And, you know, once again, I was in elementary school, and so I didn't really know half the things that they were saying and referencing. And so I'd be like, she likes him, but he likes her, but then he likes her too, and then now they're being mean to each other. They're saying bad words. I didn't know how to translate. I was just giving her like the bare bones, you know. But yeah, I was working as a translator since I was young, for sure. I still translate for my mom to this day, you know, because Mom Vera, I tell her it'd be nice if she was able to learn English, right? Because I can't always be there to translate for her. But she's like, it's okay. I'll just make your brother translate when you move out. I'm like, okay, Mom. Well, what happens then if we both move out? And she's like, I'll make your dad translate for me. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom. She's like, yeah, you guys can do it for me. Hi, Kevin. I'll take some jasmine tea and raspberry crumpets. Of course. Here. I have cookies, right? Oh my God, not my SSD floating above my head. Let me take that picture away. But here you go. Here are your jasmine tea and raspberry crumpets. There you go. I hope you like. Yes. Kind of amazing how she was so invested based on the bare bones translations. Oh, trust me. She was eating them up whenever it came to all that. Like I told you guys before, she's into WWE. And that's the whole reason why I have all these references of WWE. Because Mom Vera wanted me to translate every single Friday. That Friday Night SmackDown aired. She'd want to watch them wrestle, you know, because she thought it was hilarious seeing them beat up each other, you know, but also have these like really dramatic characters that they played. Because Mom Vera thought it was real, you know? She didn't realize that it was all fake. But I would tell her, I was like, oh, The Undertaker, he just came back alive. Okay, Triple H, he's talking smack right now, okay, about how he's gonna jump off the table and, you know, slam down on them. Okay, next up, we have Batista and Rey Mysterio talking about how they're gonna win the tag team battles. Okay, all right, Rey Mysterio, right now, he is talking about the importance of family. No, I did not put on commentator voice. This was like, you know how people talk about how like kids, there's like a certain age in elementary school where they kind of like become sentient. You know, like they go from kind of just like autopilot child mode where they just are very much a kid, and then they have their first like thought. I was very much like translating before I had like my first thought, you know? It wasn't, I don't remember what my first thought was. I just remember at one point I was just like, don't want to watch this anymore. I want to watch Ghost Whisperer. And so I think that was like when I was a preteen, you know, and it's like the start of you wanting to like be independent. And so I remember I was like, you know what, Mom, I'm tired of translating. I want to go watch Ghost Whisperer. And she was like, okay, yeah, I can go watch Ghost Whisperer. Because for her, she liked the translations, but she didn't care either if it wasn't translated. She just purely wanted to watch them beat each other up. And so, yeah, I have you watching Ghost Whisperer upstairs, you know, on like the super small TV that my dad found at a yard sale. And then my mom, she's like downstairs watching on the TV that like they bought. And so I just hear her like cracking up, and she's the type where when they have them pinned down, you know, and they start the countdown, she'll like cheer along with them. She'll be like 1, 2, 3, and then if the person's able to keep them pinned down for the person that she's rooting for, she'll be like, yeah! Oh my god, my mom, she's so funny. Yeah, Mom Vera loves the drama. I'm telling you, Mom Vera, you know, she was the person that got me to watch C-dramas with her. Like, she was the person that got me to watch Meteor Garden with her, you know? And she would it'd be like the reversal. She would translate for me. She'd be like, okay, all right, so this guy likes that girl, but that girl likes that guy, but that guy doesn't like her now. But then later on, the guy falls in love with her, but then this guy starts to fall in love with her, and she falls in love with him. And I'm just like 10 years old trying to process everything in this like love pentagon. I'm just like, I'm trying to process it. And so for a very long time, I was like sick and tired of like watching stuff with drama. And so hence why I started like getting into anime, because I was like, wow, this is so nice. There's no drama, you know, for the anime that I started watching. And the very first anime series I watched, I talk about it, was a School Rumble. And School Rumble is like this like slice of life comedy, you know, show that has like a little bit of romance in it. And so I ate those up. And then afterwards I got into like shoujo manga, and then the drama came back, and I was like, oh, I see the pattern. The drama always pops up during the romantic stuff. And I was just like, does she slap her knee or her thigh like the ref? No, she doesn't slap her knee or thigh, but if she gets really excited, she'll like clap along with the knee slaps and thigh slaps like the ref does. She'll be like, 1, 2, 3. God, my mom. Yeah, she's the real life let's go emote. Exactly. Yep, that's my mom. That's her. But yeah. I don't even know how we got to this topic, but yeah, TV is real funny. TV, and then my mom is real funny. But yeah. And then yeah, when it came to like love too, my mom also was really into other dramas. Like she watched Charmed, she watched Gossip Girl, she watched One Tree Hill, you know? And so I know about all those shows because of my mom, once again, because I didn't watch those shows. I wouldn't have watched it if it was like my own volition back then. The only one that I was interested in back then that I watched with my mom was Smallville and Supernatural. Those I was interested in. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And so I would translate those for her, you know, on every, I think Thursday is when it aired. But for the other shows, I was like, I'm tired, Mom. I don't want to see this person sleep with this other person, and then this person sleeps with them too. And I'm just like, 10-year-old Vera was sick and tired of all these love triangles and love pentagons that were happening in Big Brother. I was there though. I was completely there for the Big Brother games. Like I like the games that they did. That was fun, you know, seeing them compete with each other. And then when you think about it, right? Like I've seen Singles Inferno, and if you don't know, Singles Inferno is a reality dating show for the Korean side. So in Korea they have Love is Blind, and then there's not Love is Blind, Singles Inferno. And Singles Inferno, it's essentially you have like really, really attractive singles on the show. You know, a lot of them are like either models or, as they call them, like influencers, or you have people that are bodybuilders or personal trainers. Like they're all really conventionally attractive, and then you put them all on an island. And so from the island, it's kind of like Love Island, I think. I've never seen Love Island, but they're on an island. And then from there, they have to you know, compete for each other's love, but then they also have to compete in actual, you know, games, right? And so I was just like, dang, that's literally like Big Brother. If Big Brother was on an island. And so I was like, dang, they've had the same formula, you know, over the years. And honestly, if it works, it works. Free her from the love drama. Yeah. But at the same time, though, I'm at a point now where I don't mind. But yeah, when I was younger, though, when I was like a teenager, I was so tired of it. I was like, I am done. I don't want to watch any K-dramas. I don't want to watch any C-dramas. I don't want to watch any anime that has drama like that. Like, I remember watching the anime From Me to You, aka Kimi ni Todoke, and that one has so much drama. Oh my god. Like, the first season was okay. Like, I didn't mind because, you know, that stuff. It was like drama, but not really drama. It was just, you know, a lot of the story-based events. But then season 2 of From Me to You was so much drama that came from misunderstandings. And I think that's my most disliked trope when it comes to romance anime, is the misunderstanding trope. Because I get it, you know, as a very real thing, like in relationships or even in friendships, right? Any sort of interaction you have with somebody, there's always a chance for misunderstandings, right? But anime, I don't know why when it comes to romance anime, they love to use that trope, and it's in like done the worst way possible, right? Like for Me to You, what happened in season 2, for those that don't want spoilers ahead, you have Sabako, the main girl, and then you have Kazuhaya. They have feelings for each other, right? And they're pretty much like set on track to keep on interacting with each other and eventually become a couple from the first way the season ended in season 1. But then there's a new character that comes into play in season 2, right? And he doesn't have really a crush per se on the main girl, right? As a second lead, like he'll eventually have like feelings in a way for her, but the way he goes about it, it was the worst misunderstanding that I've ever seen for an anime. Essentially, what happens is he finds out that she has feelings for the male lead, Kazuhaya, but he thinks that the male lead does not have feelings for her. And so, in order to protect her, he tells her that Kazuhaya has no feelings for her and that her love is purely one-sided. And so there's like a whole segment in season 2 where she's like crying her eyes out and she's like about to give up on her feelings because she finds out from him, because she thinks that he knows him and is saying the truth, right? Based off the way he's talking about it. And so I was pissed off. And then he too, the guy, right? The male lead also got pissed off when he found that happened. But I was just like, oh, heck no. I don't like this. This is like the worst misunderstanding that I've ever seen when it comes to romance anime. And you would say like, oh, why doesn't she just talk to him, right? She's like, so her concept of her character is that she just isn't really familiar with socializing because she's always been outcasted, you know, by bullies and all that jazz. And so she's like very new to the idea of trusting people and opening up to them. And so she does not want to bother people. And so she thought she was bothering Kazuhaya especially after the guy brought it up to her. And so I don't know, it just pissed me off. I was just like, oh. I had to stop watching. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll come back to it later, but I don't watch any more drama. The love interest is a dense idiot is a bit overused. I know, you know, there's some anime out there that I see where they talk about it in a way where it's like they advertise it as the character, the male lead or the female lead is not shy or is not dense, you know? And so it's like the female lead or the male lead is actually not someone that is too intimidated or too shy to confess their feelings or to go after the person that they like, or they're not too dense to not realize that the person has feelings for them. For Me to You was great, a bumpy ride but fun. I loved it. Like for me, after finishing all the seasons, including the new one that came out on Netflix last year, or was it this year? I can't remember. But yeah, I really love the anime. It's one of my all-time favorites from back in the day. But yeah. Oh my god, I feel so drained right now. I feel like we bounce from topic to topic. I'm so sorry. I bounce from topic to topic, but I feel like I'm bouncing a lot today because I've had, 3 3 hours of sleep, and then I chugged coffee to keep myself awake. Yeah, right. There's so much shoujo and romance anime out there where you're like, just get together, just do it. But I get it though, you know, because that's the whole reason why people watch romance anime a lot of the times, is because, you know, you're trying to see if the couple will get together. And so they drag it out. Like, especially for K-dramas, they are the masters of dragging out the couples. And they always give like little breadcrumbs, but breadcrumbs in a way that works, you know? Like, they never do a kiss until like the very last episode. And so what they'll do is they'll do like, okay, they'll do like the first time that they have interaction, they will bump shoulders, right? The second time they have interaction, they'll maybe like, you know, touch hands briefly, but not in a hand-holding way. And then afterwards, they'll have like a hug, and it's like the most intimate thing ever, right? And then they'll wait and drag out until the very, very end, where they kiss. And so, yeah, K-dramas are the masters of dragging it out for the sake of, you know, sucking the viewers in. Literally me when I'm watching My Dress Up Darling. Hi, Omni. Welcome on in. How you doing today? I haven't watched My Dress Up Darling, but I have heard about how much people are just like, just get together. Oh, Gojo's too polite. Gojo's cute. Gojo and Marin are really cute, from what I've seen. I watch romance to see them suffer. I don't have love. They don't deserve it. Oh, you want to see them suffer? I don't mind like a little bit of angst and a little bit of tragedy. You know, I like my sad anime, especially if it's romance involved. But for me, it's like, I at the end of the day, I do still want to see a happy ending. You know, at least like either in a different route for a visual novel or in a different sense. You know what I mean? That's why, spoiler alert for Nisekoi. Okay, for Nisekoi, I was so annoyed by the ending that they gave to Onodera. Because usually, you know, if the character doesn't end up with the main character, right, they'll have like a different route where they end up with a different character, or they'll do this and that, right? But it really felt like with Nisekoi, they just kind of like shoved Onodera to the side and didn't really give her a proper ending. Because it felt like the way that the author was going, it felt like they were on track to go for Onodera, at least on the Japan side of things. And then because Chitoge became so popular on the East Coast, on the Western side of the world, he decided to swap for Chitoge. At least that's what I'm inferring. Because Onodera just felt like she had no ending in mind. And it was just very random ending. No closure, no nothing about like what she's doing, like the other characters. It was just like, she's just kind of there. I got so torn up by the end of season 2 that I had to read the manga to the end. I never read the manga. Really? I actually know what happens in the manga ending because I got curious about it. And so I know what happens, but I haven't read I haven't watched the anime. So I'm opposite of you, Omni. I'm opposite. Yeah, right, Kit? I felt like it was forced. Like, I've had many, you know, games and anime that I've watched where, you know, it's like a harem or visual novel setting and they don't end up with the character that I want, but at least there's closure for the other character. Like, for example, once again, another spoiler alert, with Food Wars, right? Megumi, I thought would end up with Soma. She did not, right? But she had like a proper ending, you know? Like, they talked about what she's doing now. They talked about how successful she was with her own career. And I was like, I'm down for that, you know? I'm okay that she doesn't have to get with anybody if she doesn't want to, you know? And I was like, I'm fine with that. But with the way that they did Nisekoi, I felt like they did Onodera dirty. It's like, there's a difference. There's a difference with a character having a proper ending versus like a character just kind of being thrown an ending, you know? Especially in visual novels. Because visual novels, I really like seeing every single route just to see how the characters end up in, either with the main character or just like in their own route. I'm great, just made it home from work. Nice! Otsu! I hope you had a lovely, you know, smooth day at work and an even lovelier time now that you're at home. She was built up. Hi, Bula! Welcome on in! How you doing today? She was built up so much as potential love interest and just like she kind of didn't get anything though. In my brain, my copium is The anime is literally called Fake Love. And so I'm like, yeah, I know who the true love was. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But for me, you know, as an Onodera fan, I was a little salty back then. I'm just kidding. I'm not even little. I was pretty salty back then when I read the manga ending. When it came out, I was like, it's like Rent-a-Girlfriend. I'm not gonna see how it ends, but it's like when Rent-a-Girlfriend's ending came out and it like blew up on Twitter. People were debating the heck out of, you know, the ending for Rent-a-Girlfriend. I was like, oh my god. I'm not spoiling. I'm keeping it vague. I'm just saying that people were talking about it. They were all talking about the ending when it happened. Like the quintessential quintuplets ending that made everyone go to war. I have not seen quintessential quintuplets, nor do I know the ending of it. But I'm curious. But yeah, I'll find that out eventually, baby. Hi, Nix! Welcome on the YouTube side. How you doing today? Also, Fenrir, hello there, and Nimby, hello there. I don't know if I remembered to say hello on YouTube or if I just kind of started yapping. But good evening, konbanwa. Welcome. Is the anime over? I don't know. I've actually never seen Rent-a-Girlfriend except for when people talk about it on Twitter. And so I do not know. I don't know. I'm doing good and you? I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. I'm probably gonna take a big old nap here in a bit after talking on stream. But yeah, today is just more of like a just chatting stream. I was thinking about playing a game, but today has been just a lot of me talking as I update stuff on my computer. The non-spoiler version is male MC has 5 twin girls interested, and at the end he chooses one, but it was the one that the viewers least expected and wanted. Really? Okay, interesting. Butchie Joestar, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. I hope you enjoy your stay. Oh, people blew up over it. Like threads on threads and discussions. Dang. I've heard a lot of people like quintessential quintuplets though. Am I sophisticated enough to be here? Of course you are. There's no such thing as not being sophisticated enough. As long as you're not a little gremlin. If you're like a little gremlin that's, you know, under the age of Twitch TOS, then I would say probably not. But yeah, you guys are always welcome here. There's no like a sophistication bar. But hi Bochi, how you doing today? Welcome on in. Oh, it's a good one? Okay. I haven't seen a harem in a while. I'm scrolling, trying to catch up. I admit. Oh, just a heads up. So one of the rules here in my stream is that we don't mention age specifically, just because I want to make sure that people are keeping their details private for privacy's sake, for your safety. And so that's just a little tidbit, just no mentioning of age for one of the chat rules. I will delete it for now to protect your information. You watched over 50 romance anime giggling, and that's fine too. You know, I think romance is fit for anybody. Like growing up, people are like, oh yeah, romance anime is for the girlies, shonen anime is for the boys, you know. But anybody can watch anything, regardless, you know, of who they are. Happy with quintessential quintuplets canon ending? Okay, right. Okay, I'm assuming they went with your favorite girl. I love Horimiya. Horimiya was a really cute one. Cute watch. I feel like when it comes to romance, I'm pretty I don't know, can I say that? Yeah, I think with romance, I like it. Like a lot of times I'm a sucker for romance, you know? Like I was a huge romantic growing up. I always dreamed about like all the romantic things. And so I really like romance. I feel like it's more likely that I'll like the romance if it's a romance or shoujo than not like it. I think one of the... Let me think. There are some that I'm not a fan of, but it's just because it was in the premise of it in general. And so I was like, okay, that made sense. But yeah, for the most part though, if it's romance, I like it. Like Horimiya. I liked Orange. I liked Aoharu Ride. I liked, what else did I like? There's a lot of them. Also slightly biased because I think the quintuplet who won at the end. Oh, yep, I knew it. Oh, I knew it, right. We love the ending if it's our favorite person, you know, that ends up with the character. Like if my favorite girl from Nisekoi ended up with the main guy, I'd been like, cinema, absolute cinema, you know, and then you would hear the other other people being salty about it. I used to read the Percy Jackson series for the sub-romance plot. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, Sleeper Shark. It's like when I watched Maze Runner, you know, like Maze Runner was an interesting concept, but I wanted to watch for the romance, right? And then it was just like, I don't know, I felt like the romance ended up being so, pardon my language, so BS after the first movie. And so I wasn't really happy with how it went. You know, I was just like, oh. It's like the same thing with like, Hunger Games. I think Maze Runner tried to do Hunger Games in season 2 with, or not season 2, with their sequel, right? But Hunger Games did it better. Whereas with Maze Runner, I was just like, I was just like, why? Why do they keep doing this with couples in like a dystopian world? You know, they always have that same trope where it's like the couple, they're like, you know, trying to find each other, they're trying to reconnect with each other by the time that the first movie ends. And then in the second movie, the couple ends up either, like the other person in the relationship ends up being like brainwashed or used by the opposing, you know, overarching evil corpo or evil, you know, people that are in charge of what's ever happening to the people in there. And so I was just like, dang, they really tried to do the same exact thing, but one worked better than the other. Like with PETA, you know, I think the explanation of PETA and what happened to him made more sense than what happened to the girl in Maze Runner. I was just like, huh. Some romance plot introductions feel more natural for me, but the execution, exactly, right? Like I feel like it can be done well. It's just execution is so important. And that's why things like stories, there's so many layers when it comes to story building, story, you know, writing. And so there's a lot that can go into it. And there's really fun things that work for a lot of different stories. But if you don't make it work in your story, it can make or break your story that you write. Oh, thank you, Dry Bear. I hope you enjoy your lurk. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for chatting with me. Keep cleaning day so I go lurk. Have fun being Levi Ackerman in his apron. I love seeing Levi Ackerman in his apron because he was just like super into clean mode. I don't know. It was like it was cute. I think it's cute, you know? It's like a kind of like Gatmo. You have, you know, the Levi Ackerman that's like all serious, right? On duty for slaying titans and stuff like that. But then you have the other side of Levi where, you know, he just wants to be like a house husband, you know? He just wants to take care of that girl that he loved and clean and cook. And I'm just like, oh, that's cute. Man. No, not the animal PETA. Yeah, PETA, like PETA from Hunger Games. Not PETA, like Peter Griffin either. Sons of Peters! Son of Peters, I hope you enjoy your lurk. Thank you for lurking. Sorry, I've been saying Peter a lot, and so I feel like I might be pinging people that are named Peter, you know? Sorry. I'm not trying to grab your attention on purpose. That was great. That was amazing, though. But yeah, so once again, just to kind of summarize what happened before I started yapping about topics. I installed my SSD wrong, and then I fixed the installation for my SSD. And then we already had put Windows 11 onto my USB that we have. And then I installed Windows 11, but my Windows 11 was installed on the new SSD as my new boot drive. And so I had to reinstall everything onto my current drive. And so, yeah, I've been going through that process. I have my oh my gosh. So everything was pretty smooth. Like my Discord was good. My Steam games were good, you know. But when it came to OBS, that was the thing that almost made me crash out, as they say. Because with my OBS, what happened was, you know, OBS is a little different. Like you have scenes, you have profiles, but then you have sources. And I've had my OBS since I first began streaming 5 years ago. And so, or 6 years ago to be exact. And so I pretty much, when I opened up my OBS, there was like nothing. Everything was pretty much gone except for like the default stuff that's on OBS. And so I was like, oh. And for me, because I've had OBS, you know, for so long, I have sources from like all over folder wise. And so there's a bunch of files that are missing. And we did the thing where I tried to like fill in the directory with the missing source application that they have on OBS. And I did that, and we were able to find a bunch of sources, but this was like utilizing the old OBS on the other drive. And so Whoopo wanted me to have my OBS on this drive, you know, so that things boot up faster. And so we did that, but then there was just a really weird connection going on with the files. And so we couldn't connect my old files with the new one. And then at some point, something happened where we were trying to boot up the old OBS again, but the old OBS was not reading the old OBS files. It started trying to read the new drive OBS files. And so nothing was working. Everything was broken. I was about to, you know, start spiraling. I was actually spiraling, I feel like, at that point. And so thanks to Whoopo. Whoopo actually did a thing where he like took all of my OBS files. He did his magic, and then for some reason I re-downloaded OBS with the zip that he sent me. And so a lot of my sources were fixed, you know? He was able to kind of direct it in a way where it's the same thing, right? Like it's still reading from the drive. It's just the name of the drive, I think. And so he did it in a way where instead of trying to read my old SSD, it would read the new one, or vice versa. And so he was able to fix that for me. And then other stuff I did was I just had to manually download fonts. I forgot that fonts are a thing that you have to download. And then I had to download some other stuff too. But yeah, thankfully everything is good OBS wise for today. Like it was set in a way where I was able to still stream, which is the main thing that I want to do. I at least want to still stream a little bit today, even if it ends up being like a bit of a shorter stream. And then the other stuff that I need to install are just like the throwing system, my Shoost, like some other softwares like my Audacity and my DaVinci. But yeah, other than that, I think it's pretty good. I do apologize though, I was not able to set up the vertical stream for today just because by the time that we finished with everything for Windows 11 updates, it was like, once again, 7 a.m. Pacific. So not even Eastern, it was 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And so I was tired, I was drained. I went to go sleep, you know, or nap before stream, and then here I am now. But yeah, if it wasn't for Whoopo, I don't know if I would have been able to transfer everything as smoothly as I did. So thank you, Whoopo. Thank you again. Man, Whoopo! So I you know, whenever Whoopo and Derpy help me out, I always want to repay them for their time, you know, because it's a long time that they spend with me. Like it was about almost 10 hours, right, that we worked together on updating everything yesterday. And so I always tell them, like, if you want me to pay you for your time, please, I'm more than happy to pay you for your time, or like get you something at least like on your wish list. But Whoopo, he was like, remember what happened last time? And what happened last time was, last time when I asked if I could pay him for his services, he sent me an invoice for $0. And I was just like, oh my God, you did not just make a whole invoice just to say no. He made a whole invoice. He like filled out his name. He filled out my name. He did like the whole shebang for it to say 0. You owe me $0. And I was like, oh my God. And so he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing again. And I'm like, you don't have to. I get it. But yeah, I feel bad. Like I feel bad taking up anyone's time, you know, because time is money. And you know, I always feel bad asking people for help. And so I'm just like, man, just let me do something. Let me repay you for your kindness and your help and your time. Question though, was everyone busy when it arrived? So Fridays and Mondays are like the only time that, you know, I'm off. And so I was actually like, we were out yesterday for a while, and then Whoopo, he went to go take a nap, but he told me that if he wanted me to like install with him, I could call him. And I think we got back around like 3 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. But I was kind of tired from just like being out and about, and so I wanted to chill. I was like, okay, I'm just down to chill. And so I chilled for a bit. And then I was like, if I install tonight, I install tonight. If I don't install tonight, that's okay, right? Because for me, I thought it was gonna be like a 2-hour thing. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna install, you know, the SSD, right? And then Windows 11, I just transfer everything over, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And so I highly underestimated how much time it was going to take. Because the thing is too, so the reason why I want to get everything done on Friday too was because my desk was supposed to come in yesterday, but my desk has been delayed. And so I was like, okay, since my desk isn't coming, maybe I can just wait, if anything. So that way I can just build everything in one go. But I was like, okay, you know what? I will install the SSD. You know what? I will install it because, you know, I was like, it should be pretty simple and quick, right? Wrong. So now I know. If I'm trying to install a whole new Windows, I should set a time for, you know, the Windows installation and transferring of files. Because I thought it was just like a okay, Windows 11, and then I was just gonna be able to access everything, you know, just like I do now with my Windows 10. But no, I didn't realize that it was like okay, we're gonna transfer and then make the new SSD as like the new boot drive. And so because of that, everything's broken, and so you have to push everything onto the new boot drive. But yeah, that was my fault. It's not really the Windows 11 that's difficult. The Windows 11 part was pretty quick. Like, it was really simple just to install Windows 11. It was just the boot drive that took forever because of the transferring of files and trying to make things work and see what broke and all that jazz. Yeah. Like what was said, it's less of a Windows 11 problem, but a problem of having a new system drive. Hi, Maxie. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? I misunderstood. I thought it was just like a simple, like, you just drag everything from the SSD to the new SSD. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hi, Jakerus. Welcome on in. Nice to see you again. Hello. Cloning the drive can help, but it's more involved than just... Exactly. I didn't realize. Because once again, I'm not really tech savvy. And so I don't really understand how much time some stuff takes or how large of a scale transfer it is when we talk about transferring things, you know. In my brain, transferring is like you just click and drag because that's what I do whenever I move stuff between my SSDs. I just click and drag, you know, and I delete the old one and I'm just like, yeah, easy peasy. But yeah, once again, I didn't install Windows 10 for a long time, and the last time I installed it was 10 years ago, I think, according to my hard drive. Oh, you like when I say bada bing, bada boom? I don't know. I just kind of picked up on it from a YouTuber that I watch, and then since then I just keep on saying bada bing, bada boom. Same thing too with like all that jazz and, you know, other catchphrases I say. I told people before, when I reference things, I have a lot of things I reference from over the years that I've watched, you know? Oh, you miss Windows 10? I miss it too. I'm not gonna lie. You should have heard me last night. I was such a hater on Windows 11. As everything was like updating, you know? Like I remember when I saw the update text for them prepping Windows 11 and how the font looked different and how the loading wheel is no longer like dots loading. It's like a solid bar that loads in a circle. And I was just like, ew. I kept being like, ew. And my phone was cracking up. He was like, ew? You said ew? And I was like, yeah, I'm being a hater. I'm being a hater on Windows 11. Have you had any problems since upgrading to Windows 11 that could like knock out 8.5 hours? As of right now, no. At least not the problems that I've been reading that other people are having. Like my OBS thankfully is good and all that jazz, but like I said, you know, I had Wuppo there to help me with everything, and so I feel like a lot of times it could be just like installation problems people are having, or it could be hardware. A lot of people are mentioning that it's just hardware that's not supported as much, right? All the problems we encountered would have happened on Windows 10 too. Yeah, exactly, right? So all the problems were not Windows 10 related. Exactly. I'm gonna stretch. Big stretch. I need a sweet treat. Oh my god. My friend's laptop has a lot of driver problems now since she upgraded. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I heard the driver problems were like a big thing for people too, which I was afraid of. from some moots that I saw on Twitter. Some mutuals. The only thing I really like about Windows 11 over Windows 10 is auto HDR. What does that mean? What is auto HDR? But yeah, I'm okay though. Like I said, I don't mind. I don't mind just like ripping the band-aid off, you know, because once again, the faster that I do it, the faster that I have to adapt. And then once I get used to it, then I'll, you know, I've gotten used to it type of thing. I've always been like that. I'm just like, if I need to do something, might as well do it faster just to kind of, you know, get it done with. But there are times though where I do kind of hold off because I'm lazy. The only thing that I really like about Windows 11 over Windows 10 is auto HDR. Or the rating. It'll take a game that doesn't have an HDR mode and add HDR if you have a display that supports it. Makes it, bright and vibrant. Always use Windows since 2008 or 2010 and I prefer it. Or at least used to prefer it over any other Windows OS. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. I feel the same way too. Like every Windows update, you know, everyone's always like, oh, I miss the old Windows. And I was part of that too. But yeah, as long as everything works, I don't mind adapting to it. I will say though, the emojis kind of threw me off. The emojis that I use for my stream, they look different compared to like how you see the emojis on your phone. And so I'm just like, whoa, it's looking like when you see emojis on Android versus your iPhone, you're like, what the heck? This emote looks like that? That's wrong. Marvel! So for my Steam transfers, it was actually really easy because Wappo taught me how to do storage transfer. And so I just directly moved it from storage to storage. And so Marvel is already transferred, yeah. Same with some other games. And then I want to reinstall some other stuff. Like I want to, you know, reinstall Night Rain. And then I want to install some other games. Because today, originally, for the vertical stream debut for TikTok and YouTube, I was going to play Cooking Simulator or something like that. You know, for funsies to see how it runs. But I was just, yeah, I was too tired to finish setting up my vertical overlay last night. Yesterday was a very busy day. And then tonight might still be busy because I'm waiting for my desk to come in. It's supposed to arrive tonight. And so if it comes tonight, I might build it tonight or I might build it on Monday when I'm off. Probably, I want to say more likely on Monday because tonight I want to finalize transferring stuff to my new drive, hopefully. Even Chromebook is a massive pain to use and I hate it so much. Yeah? But yeah, I'll admit, I was feeling a bit lazy last night after coming home from being out. I was just like, I just kind of want to chill, you know? And once again, I also thought it would take less time than I thought it would. So it was a combination of like me being a little lazy and then me also highly underestimating how long it would take to transfer files. Never again. Never again. You know, I was talking with Paul about it too. He was like, yeah. I was like, now that you've done this, now you're ready for next time, right? You know what to prep for next time. I was like, yeah, I'll do this next time when I am years old. And he was like, no. Essentially, I was like, 10 years from now, I'm going to do it again. And he's like, no. He's like, you're not going to wait for 10 years. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know when the next update will be. Yeah, I like to push updates because as a streamer, I feel like too, something that you kind of get used to is that as a streamer, a lot of the times when you're trying to update stuff, it ends up more of the time breaking things that you have than doing better for you. And so, yeah, there's a lot of times where I push updates too. Like OBS, for example, whenever there's an OBS update, I never download the update when it comes out the same day. I always wait until like a month at least afterwards to see if anything breaks because I always hear about people rolling back their OBS. And so I wait a month and then I'll update my OBS type of thing. At a tea shop, discovered a new tea flavor to share with the tea house. Melon! Hojicha! Nutty with melon hits. Oh, I love melon flavored for the winter. Provir is a huge fan of winter melon, especially for the winter. And so that sounds really tasty, Peters. I hope you enjoy your winter, or your melon hojicha. I like both Android and iOS when it comes to portable electronic devices. As for PCs, I never had a PC of my own, but my school always uses Windows for probably 20 to 30 years at this point. Oh, snap. Oh, dang. Linux time? No, I'm okay with Windows 11 for now. Yeah, but they did suggest it though. Derpy was like, you could do Linux. Because of that, I exclusively use Windows since I was in elementary school. I'm seriously considering switching to Linux when I get my own laptop. Good luck! Yeah. Well, whenever I talk about stories like this, I just hope that it can either, you know, help you guys out in prepping for any of your builds, or it can just give you a nice little chuckle, you know, to make your days a little bit better. I don't mind, you know, I'm all about calling myself out and exposing myself like this because I'm, you know, I try to be as transparent as possible. I don't mind talking about messing up and what I did, you know, like bending my SSD like that. Oh my god. I still can't believe I did that to the SSD. I feel like if someone watched me or like a professional, you know, like my friends that build PCs. I know a few people. There's like Lopo, there's Derpy and a few other people that I know that are good at building PCs. If they had been monitoring me, like spotting me building my PC, I feel like they would. You know that scene from Monsters Inc. where Sully thinks that Boo is in the trash composer and then the cube combiner, and he like starts fainting every 5 seconds, seeing the trash being destroyed and then turn into a cube. I feel like that was that would have been, yeah, my friends, if they saw me trying to put the SSD together like that. Winter Melon, did you know Kung Fu Tea is doing a Pokemon? Oh, they are! I love Kung Fu Tea collabs. I think the last one that I took part in was the Pikmin collab because I wanted the Pikmin cup straw thingamabob. And so I got the Pikmin stuff from the Pikmin collab with Elveira. But when it comes to other collabs, I haven't really kept up with their other collabs. I hear stupid stuff Microsoft pushed for Windows 11, such as the ads and the... So there's a way to actually change that stuff. I just kind of turned off everything and anything that related to like location, for example. Anything that related to advertisement. I just turned it all off. And so whenever I boot up Windows 11 for my starting screen, I don't see anything related to that. It just looks like the regular Windows 10 starting screen, but fancier, more like simplistic UI, if that makes sense. And so there is a way to turn that off. Like when it comes to ads or anything location related or data, you can always turn that off. And so I just turned it all off. One of my work colleagues recently brought an ancient PC from his cousin in that was like early Windows XP, late Windows 2000. The cousin never updated, never changed parts. They never turned off the PC. What the heck? That's crazy for a PC that old, an OS that old. That's really impressive. I'm surprised that they never got a virus or anything like that or any problems. That's unheard of. Okay, Silva, when we're talking about ancient, you have to remember it's different when it comes to technology because 2000s is not that long ago, you know, but in terms of like technology wise, that's pretty old for, you know, in terms of PC talk. 2000s with Windows XP with no updates, with the amount of updates that happen, you know. In computer terms, XP might as well be the Cambrian explosion era. I don't know what that is. I personally expected it to be Windows 95 even, right? I don't think I know anyone that has Windows XP still. Exactly, right? Like feel wise, right? Especially from someone that might not really care too much about PC building, you know? Like for the regular everyday person, I feel like XP and all that jazz, it's not that old, right? But for someone that is into technology more and is into building PCs, it is very outdated. Even stuff like, you know, like the i9, right? The i9 was not that long ago. I got the i9 5 years ago, right? But people are saying that that's super outdated, you know? Especially for people that do stuff like streaming or do stuff that is more intensive on the PC. Even something that came out like a year ago can be considered outdated. And so, yeah, when it comes to technology talk, it's very different from like the actual timeline if you think about it for age and all that jazz. The PC was his only data storage for his company. Ain't no way. That's crazy. His PC was his data for company files. Oh my god. That's scary. Like I did that before, you know, with my with my HDD, right? But I don't have company files. For company files, that's crazy. They didn't say outdated. Exactly, ancient. Like for example, you know, like what came to my HDD was 5 years ago, right? But Wuppo was like, take that ancient HDD out of there. And I was like, it's ancient? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty old. And I was just like, oh, I didn't know my HDD is ancient. I got this like, you know, 10 years ago and I put it into my PC 5 years ago for the new PC. But he was like, yeah, that's ancient. And I was like, oh. Right? I don't understand either. Like, I remember when I had the Windows XP from the 2000s, our PC was like dying, you know, before we updated it. And so that's really impressive that 1, it's been running since then. And then 2, it's been on the XP. And 3, that they were even able to do stuff for work on their Windows XP. That's crazy. You know what I mean with ancient as in antiquated tech, not as an exactly right antiquated, is that how you pronounce it? Tech, not actual age, you know. It's like when they talk about, you know, like consoles, right? Like people talk about the GameCube being retro, and when you hear retro, you're like, what do you mean retro? It's not retro. But by terms of technology, if it's 10 years old, it's considered retro, I believe, right? And then if it's 20 years old, it's considered vintage. Can't remember the technicalities in the tech world for consoles. That's crazy too. The fact that they never turned their computer off. How? How did they keep it alive for that long? That's great. You're supposed to at least like turn it off once a week for those that want to keep your PC open. So to never have turned it off since Windows XP, that's crazy. That's impressive. I'm not gonna lie. That's really impressive. I feel like in a way that could be a flex, you know, for how well they took care of their PC. That's crazy. It's a weird flex in its own way. I think the PC then was turned off for some reason. No idea what, but well, it does not turn on again. I wonder why. You know, I have some friends too that just like leave their PCs and laptops on the entire time. And I'm just like, please, for the sake of longevity, please at least turn it off like once, you know, once a week. Like for me, you know, I just turn it off because ever since I was young, I was always told to like turn off my stuff because 1, you know, to save energy on the energy bill. And then 2, just because, you know, they said it was good to let your computer rest. When you put your computer or your laptop to sleep, it's not actually resting, you know, like things are still active in the background, right? And so I was always told to at least turn it off if I could. And so that's why I did. I would always turn it off. Yeah, Silva, I'm talking about you. You're one of the friends that I'm thinking about. Please, ma'am, turn off your laptop at least once a week, okay? You can restore your browsers with that one click of a button, okay? All your tabs are gonna still be there, right? All you gotta do is just open your browser, go to your history, click on restore session, and you'll have all your tabs back. Please. It's like, you know, the computers that don't sleep, they're like, please let me sleep. It's been 84 years. I've been working overtime for the past 84 years. I need to sleep, please. And then, you know, it's like the scene from Scary Movie where the Grudge turns into, you know, this like non-cursed child, right? She's like, you freed me. That's how I imagine y'all's PCs and laptops that have not been turned off. Check DMs. Okay, let me see. I'm looking. Does that say 20 days? Let me show you what he sent me, okay, y'all? So I like how I'm talking about like all these like, you know, praises about Wuppo, advising me about doing stuff, you know, for me and advising me about what to do for my tech stuff to keep things, you know, optimal. And then here we have Wuppo with his uptime. Let me just reset that real quick. Okay. His PC has been on for 20 days! 20 days! 5 hours, 53 minutes, and 31 seconds. Popo, please tell me you at least like reboot once a month. You know? Please. I'll shut my off today. Good, good. And then afterwards, I'll say that I am proud of you. That's why I always shut down my PC, my work PC on Fridays for the weekend. Right. I feel like same thing too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was guilty of that too in university. I'd always have my tablet turned on because I didn't have a laptop. I had a tablet with a keyboard, right? That I used as my laptop for university. And then I would just wait to do homework on my PC at home, which is our family PC. And so I would always have my tablet turned on until the weekend, or I would just fully turn it off. And so I would keep it on for like a week at most, with sleeping in between. But yeah. She's exposing Wuppo. Hey, it's not just Wuppo, okay? I'm exposing myself too. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw on the YouTube side, but Wuppo made the very lovely thumbnail for today's stream because I don't have my GIMP files. And so all of my thumbnail resources are currently not transferred. And so I couldn't make a thumbnail. And so Wuppo made me a thumbnail for today's stream. And he also did it because he wanted to cheer me up. Because I was really depressed with espresso last night after spiraling. And, you know, and so, yeah, it wasn't until like a little bit afterwards that I was like, okay, you know, everything's still there. Like, he kept reassuring me, you know, he was like, everything's still there. Okay, nothing's lost. It's still on your old SSD. It's just I have to transfer everything. And so I was like, you know, and so I was really grateful. Can I show it? I know you don't want me to bring attention to it, Wuppo, but I love it. I love the thumbnail. I was talking about it. I was like, if anything, I can just make like a MS Paint thumbnail for today, right? Inspired from Vanta. I don't know if you guys know Vanta, but we've had the pleasure of being able to, you know, interact and play games with them before. And so during our Major Arena collab, in the middle of it, he decided that he wanted to stream, and so he made this like scuffed MS Paint thumbnail, which is amazing. And so I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, I could just pull, you know, a Vanta and just you know, do like the little like MS Paint thumbnail for today, if anything. And so Wuppo beat me to it as I was transferring files. And so yeah, he made a like a MS Paint thumbnail for today's stream. I think it's really good. He thinks it sucks, but I think it's great. I think it's amazing, you know? Better than anything that I could have made, I feel like, last night. Hack Feather, I hope you enjoy your lurk. Thank you for lurking. Even the Samsung Galaxy S3 is only supported for a year. What's that? Is that for phones? Or is that for Android stuff? Fine. Okay, look. So this is the thumbnail that Wuppo made for today. Let me erase asset. Look! Wuppo made that thumbnail for me for today so that I could, you know, be able to have a thumbnail for my YouTube stream. Yippee! So good. Amazing. But yeah. Wait, I need to move this out. My sources. Okay, there we go. And this needs to go behind me. But yeah, yesterday it was like a transfer everything that I need for stream. And then today it's like a transfer everything else that I need that I realize I'm missing. Are they taking commissions? Alright, Wuppo, well, are you? Are you taking commissions? I can barely remember old elf model. I can swap here. Let me swap just for funsies since I do have my old outfit in that thumbnail. Ready? Alright. Okay. Waiting, I'm waiting. Hold on. Hello? Alright. Hi! Hello! So this is my old outfit, for those that do not remember. That one is a bit more accurate to the thumbnail that you see right there. So yeah, this is my my old outfit. Hi, hello. It's still me, but it's just the non-maid Vera. And I still use this. It's not like she's gone forever. It's just that I use it every once in a while. And I feel like, yeah, people tell me that they recognize this one more, right? Because I use this one a lot for my TikToks. And so a lot of people that follow me from TikTok or know me from TikTok recognize this outfit from back in the day. And it's not even that long ago. This was the first outfit that I debuted with. And then the maid one is the one that I debuted with as of the beginning of this year. And so, yeah, I still use both. I use this one and I use the other one. And I also have a new outfit that's in the works for next year. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get that, done for another debut. Yeah. Yeah, throwback. I definitely remember this. Yeah, like I said, she's not gone forever. Like I still use her every once in a while. It's just that sometimes I'll swap out. But yeah, maid Vera is supposed to be me like on duty in uniform, and then this is more of like me off maid duty. Yeah. This one's so cute. Thank you, reading koalas. Yeah, for some people that don't know, this is my OG outfit. Looks like this. Ta-da! I love this outfit. Like this outfit, it's very special to me because for the maid outfit, I love that one too. But that one was more of just like I gave an artist a general concept, and then they went with their own idea with no references. And so that one, was once again more on the artist end. But this outfit was like very, very curated with me and the artist that made my outfit. It took several revisions. I had like a million references that I made for this outfit. And so this has a very special place in my heart. And so this one will always be here. It's never going to go away. And then, yeah, my maid outfit is just my on duty. I think when I first followed was a debut for this outfit. Really? Oh, I'm glad that this is nostalgic for some of y'all. It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. I did, yeah. So I used this back when I was playing Marvel Rivals because my computer cannot handle vBurger and Marvel Rivals on at the same time. And so for this one, this rig is really well done as well. Like my art mama, she's really cracked at rigging. And so she made this without vBurger. And so it has really smooth tracking still, but without the intensity of it. And so this is my, alternate option in case I need to play a game where it's not as intense. But if I go back, it's loading. Hold on. Ta-da! Here, if I have my braid on, you can tell it's pretty much, it's still me, right? I think the hairstyle makes it a little different since it's not the exact same hairstyle when I have my other pigtails, but with my hairstyle, you can definitely tell that it's still me. It's still me, just in a new outfit, in a maid outfit. Yeah. But yeah, this hairstyle though is my all-time favorite. Like this will always be my OG hairstyle. Yeah, and I still have it. It's just that I don't really use it too often. Never brought this up before, but I love the long hair braid. Reminds me of Rapunzel from Tangled. I love Rapunzel, especially from the Tangled movie. Her hair is so pretty when she braids it, and when it's down, I just God, when I think of Rapunzel from Tangled, I think of I See the Light, and I really want to cover that song. But when it comes to Disney songs, they're really dangerous because of copyright and, big company Disney. And so I want to cover it, but I don't think I ever can. But I love that song. I love the Tangled songs. They're great. As Tony the Tiger says, they're great. But thank you, Darkrai. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Each Disney is real trigger happy when yeah, exactly. Like there are some people out there that even just like briefly mention it in their games that they play, and they get Thanos snapped, you know. And so yeah, it's scary. It's very scary when it comes to that. Next time I go to karaoke in real life, I'll know to play that song. All those years, I forgot the lyrics. I've done it for my karaoke, like my stream karaoke before. Yeah, good karaoke song, exactly. Like I like it a lot. Like I can sing it right here, right now. Honestly, I was thinking of that. I was about to do like impromptu karaoke on stream today, just so I could sing my heart out because, you know, of how stressed I was last night. Guys, I was so stressed out. I was so stressed. Wuppo was there. I'm so sorry, Wuppo. You had to deal with stressed out, spiraling Elveira. Oh, God. De-stress. I can't, though, because I'm streaming on YouTube. And so if I were to do karaoke on YouTube, I'd have to make like a new waiting room. And then I would have to like split the VOD track as well so that I don't have it muted on Twitch either. Which I need to reset back up again. I need to set that back up. Let me change my hairstyle back, by the way, to the pigtail viewer. The one that you guys are more familiar with now. Ta-da! It's me! Pigtail maid Vera. All those years. Da-da-da-da-da. They're used to it! Oh! What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? You know, there are times where we're like talking to, you know, and gaming, and then Wuppo was like, I'm surprised you didn't yell at me. You can yell at me. And I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna yell at you. And he's like, you did in Peak? And I was like, Peak's different. At that point, I was crashing out because I was getting stressed in Peak. But when it comes to more, you know, like stuff outside of games, I'm not really the type to, you know, crash out like that. In terms of, you know, if I crash out, I'm crashing out on myself. I'm not the person that will put the blame on others, you know, on stuff like that. But for gaming, for that one day in Peak, you know, I was stressed out by all the directions about what to do in Peak. I was like, Brad, I hope you enjoy your lurk. Thank you for lurking. But yeah, like I said, today's gonna be a bit more of like a chill day. And then for tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to play a game. But yeah, just gonna keep today more chill. More on the chill side. Just like a small just chatting, you know, test things out, see what's working, see what's not working. And then I'll be back again tomorrow. And we'll hopefully be able to play a game. And then also do the vertical streaming. I'm gonna finish setting up the vertical overlays for the TikTok and the YouTube Shorts test tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll be able to finish setting up the Twitch integrated throwing system, as well as some other stuff like my thumbnail files on GIMP. But yeah, once again, if you're able to, once again, if you guys are able to refund the throws from today, please, I would really appreciate that. But if not, I can also take care of it after stream too. But yeah, I think I'll probably call it there for today. Like I said, today's going to be a bit of a shorter stream once again, just because I do want to finish setting stuff up for the PC. I have a lot to do still. And so, yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet for today so that I can do more stuff off stream. And then we'll come back tomorrow after I've, you know, slept properly and after I've installed everything. And we should be hunky-dory for the rest of December. Yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today's stream. I hope you guys enjoyed, though. I hope you enjoyed our quick 2-hour short but sweet session of catching up together about what's happening on my PC build. And I will be back again tomorrow. But thank you, everyone. Once again, I'm so sorry that we didn't have any sort of game to play for today. But hopefully, once again, by tomorrow, we'll be back to gaming. We'll be dual streaming, you know, both on Twitter again and on YouTube again. But also on YouTube Shorts as well as on TikTok. So that will be hopefully all set up for tomorrow. But thank you so much, everyone. Let me hop on over to our usual ending scene. And once again, a huge thank you to everyone that help me fund my motherboard as well as my CPU. Fun fact, actually, Bro Viren and I had our usual like weekly talk last night, and he was telling me about how cool it was to see it, the motherboard and the CPU, since he picked it up for me. And so yeah, he was like, it's cool. And then he talked about it too. He was like, yeah, ever since he began streaming himself, he's like, it's really cool seeing all the equipment that streamers use at Micro Center. Because before, for Micro Center, he just saw PC stuff, but now he was like, whoa, streamer stuff, whoa. Yeah, thank you again, everyone. And once again, an extra huge thank you to Mod Rockers, since Mod Rockers' extra donation essentially helped me fund for the SSD when my HDD unexpectedly died on the same day that we were talking about my PC potentially dying at some point soon. It heard me, and it was like, bet. You said we're gonna break soon? Bet. But okay, everyone. I'm gonna send you guys over to Twirly. Twirly is currently playing Water Park Simulator. She's doing like her first for gaming streams on the weekends for more of a consistent schedule again. She was talking to me about it, about how she wants to do a schedule again. And so, yeah, she's doing gaming weekends. So we're gonna raid Twirly. She's also playing Water Park Simulator. So let's go give her some love, shall we? We'll do Elve Arrive. Or no, let's do Elve Run. Let's do... Oh, no. Let's do Elve Rave. Let me in! Okay. This is the message if you guys are subby. Okay. Oh, if you want to instantly join her game, I'll do a second raid message too. You can do let me in and then exclamation point visit. Okay. You can do that raid message too if you just want to visit right away in her water park. Because you can visit if you're in the chat. It has Twitch integration. But okay. Alright, I'm just gonna raid Twirly like I said today. I don't know if I can raid her because I know she's streaming. But I think she's not allowed to raid herself yet. Let me see. Can I raid over to Twirly today on YouTube as well? Let me double check. If I can redirect her, I'll redirect her. But yeah, if you guys want to check out my links, I do have my links posted down below in the description on YouTube. And then my links are posted on the Twitch chat right there if you want to check out my Twitch chat links. But yeah, I stream every day except for Mondays and Fridays at 3 p.m. ET, 12 p.m. PT. And on Sundays, I do stream a bit later, but I think for tomorrow, I'm just going to stream at the usual time. Unless I need more time. But yeah, I expect tomorrow's stream to be either earlier. If not earlier, then same time as usual. 5 p.m. ET, which is 2 p.m. PT. Okay, I can redirect to Twirly. Alright, so yeah, we'll raid Twirly both on YouTube and on Twitch. Okay, alright. Raid is happening as of right now. Once again, I'm so sorry that today's stream was a bit shorter, but it's time for me to lock in. We're gonna lock in and we're gonna try to update everything for tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for stopping by today. Thank you so much for all the follows, the subs, gift subs, the resubs, the bits, the raids, and most importantly, thank you so much for your time. And as always, don't forget to hydrate, don't forget to stretch, don't forget to stand up and walk around if you've been sitting down all day. And most importantly, please don't forget to be kind to others, and especially, please be kind to yourselves. I'll see you guys again on tomorrow's stream. Hopefully you can play a game tomorrow with either some friends or maybe we'll start a new game. Alright, bye everyone. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Mata ne. Wish me luck. Thank you everyone for all of your support always. Thank you. Bye bye. Oh my god, I hit the wrong scene. Bye bye.